Hello, and welcome to What's Buzzin' in Breck, the podcast that buzzes with everything Breckinridge County. I'm Jacklynn Turner, and I am here with Miss Kayla Combs from Bluegrass Beauty and Wellness. So we're excited to have you today, Kayla.
Well, thanks for having me.
So to kick things off, can you tell us what you do at Bluegrass Beauty and Wellness?
So we do a mix of aesthetic services along with wellness services. So we do our aesthetic side, we do facial skincare, we do Botox, we do fillers, we do some more advanced treatments on the skin, like chemical peels or microneedling. And then on our wellness side, we have hormone replacement therapy, we do weight loss management, we also do IV hydration and like vitamin injections and things like that.
Wow, that sounds like really detailed and there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
And that sounds amazing. Okay. So what made you decide that you wanted to pursue your own business and try to start that?
Well, initially when we started the business, I still actually lived in Louisville. We moved down to Rough River about 3 years ago. My parents had retired here. I'm a nurse practitioner, and so we were wanting to do kind of the IV hydration side. You all are too young for this, but a lot of places where you go that are big cities, a lot of people will do them as like hangover infusions to kind of perk you up if you've had too much fun. But when I got into researching it, there's a wide variety of reasons why you can do like IV infusions and for vitamin deficiencies and things like that. So we started with the IV side in Louisville, and then we expanded from there.
Wow, that's awesome. So why did you choose Hardinsburg as one of your business locations?
Well, we had moved here. My parents had retired. My mom is my business partner. She's a retired nurse. She loves to say that I have not let her retire, but she wanted to do this just as much as me. And so throughout the community, we got connected with another business owner that owned a salon. And we started renting a room from her, and that's where we started. So we wanted to be working where we were living.
Well, that's awesome, being really close and being able to just commute easily and, building that connection with people around the community. That's great. So what were some challenges that came up when you first started out in this business?
Everything. So when you're trained as nurses, Business 101 is not a part of that curriculum whatsoever. So the first step was kind of figuring out, obviously we needed to come up with a name, and then what do we do with that name? We got our LLC, but about 6-8 months into it, we start getting letters in the mail. You haven't paid this tax, you haven't paid that employment tax, or different things. And I quickly found out that if you're going to open a business, you should research the Secretary of State's websites for all things business related before you do it, because they will find you one way or another and tell you what you're doing wrong, but I usually try to be preemptive. So from the legal side or the administrative side of having a business entity, those were some of the things that I found out. Otherwise, it's just getting all the protocols in place, policies and procedures. And we had employees in Louisville. We had IV nurses. So they operate under my license. So just making sure everything's in place, everything. So you find a lot of bumps in the road along the way with that. So
wow, that sounds kind of like us, when we first started coming up with the business name and the logo and everything. It's all a huge part of it, and that's just how it is. So I know you mentioned that you're a nurse practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the only kind of education you need for this, or are there other types of education you could use to have this business?
So as far as the aesthetic side goes, or a lot of the services we offer, you can be a nurse. You just have to have a collaborating physician or a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant, someone with a higher license over you. And essentially you work under their license. So yes, to get up to the path of a nurse practitioner, you have to have a college degree in nursing and then the master's degree. But any RN can do these kind of services. Like I said, PAs or doctors.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's actually a big range.
Yes.
Or somewhat. So.
And it's a specialty. So even though I went to nursing school and I went to nurse practitioner school, a aesthetics is not necessarily like a course that we have.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff I've done certification courses, or I've done other advanced trainings that I've paid for outside of my, like what it took me to get my degree and my license.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
like really nice.
Yeah.
So, who was your biggest helper like when you first started out?
So I found some of the courses that I took were through, it's called the Elite NP. It is a nurse practitioner that has owned several businesses of his own. And he personally believes in a lot of nurse practitioners essentially owning their own businesses and being entrepreneurs. And so his whole program that he's built over the last decade has courses for how to add services, the education on the services. He has a lot of, I think I read every blog on his website, just about everything I could, because I just felt so naive about it. So even though I don't know him personally, he was probably my biggest help.
Wow, that's amazing. Like having like just that person who like wants you and others to start their own business like that without even a business degree.
Well, and just people, there's a really big Facebook group for a lot of the people that have taken the courses. And so there's a lot of practitioners in that group that will post patient scenarios, business scenarios, things like that, that they're having difficulty with. And it's a nice little community, like a place where you don't feel like you're alone, because somebody has probably dealt with it, whether they have their $1 million business or they're in the same place as you just starting out. So that's been, social media is a nice thing to have sometimes. So.
Well, it's nice to have that support group and everything. So, what would you say are the biggest differences between Bluegrass Beauty and Wellness and maybe like other competitors around you?
Well, I think with us, you're definitely getting people who value education. So I don't add a new service unless I feel very educated on it. We're always doing trainings. We try to do trainings on skincare, our facial services, chemical peels. I think knowledge is power. And with our business, I think sometimes I can feel like I'm trying to sell things to people, but I'm not like a car salesman or something, right? But I am selling a service. And I'm selling a service that people don't necessarily like have to have. They want to have. So I think what's going to make us different is we just value our education, and we value knowing how to offer our services. So like somebody, for instance, may come in and they're doing this to their face and they're pulling back and they're going, I want my lips done and I want this and I want Botox everywhere. And you might look at somebody, and I've told people no before. So it's, making sure you're educating your patients too on like why a service is good for you, or why I'm telling you no, but I'm saying this might be a different route for you. I have seen where people start, I won't say necessarily competitors around us, because we're kind of, especially in Hardinsburg, we are our own little like niche here. But as far as other competitors, I won't say that what they're doing wrong or not doing right, but with aesthetics, there are so many people out there that there's not a lot of regulation in the industry. So it's kind of up to the provider to take that upon themselves to be, to make sure education and what you're doing for people and what you're doing to people is what they really need, and you're doing it in an appropriate way. So you're going to get a provider, hopefully, that people can trust with us, because most people coming in wanting to spend money, they don't want to hear the word no. Yeah. Most people that have a business where you're getting paid for offering services, you don't want to have to tell people no, right? You want to make money. But I think just always keeping in mind like what's best for our patients is what we're going to do at the end of the day. So
I love that. Like, I love that you all really care that much to be able to tell your customers what you think will actually be better for them, instead of just giving them a service that isn't going to do them any good. So a lot of people don't do that now, so that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of times too, especially for the aesthetic side, even the wellness side, sometimes I tell people, I'm like, sometimes too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Like our B12 shots. sometimes people think that's going to fix their fatigue. And for some people it will. B12 will help increase your energy. But it won't if B12 is not your problem. So that's where we start looking at other things. And so, yeah, sometimes you just have to, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. So.
Oh, yeah. So you've mentioned like having a lot of care for your customers and wanting to just be there and educate them and everything. So how do you engage with your customer base, and how do you create like a community around Bluegrass Beauty and Wellness with them?
Well, that's one thing we're working on right now. So I grew up in the in-between of the social media world. So when I was going to college, that's when you had to have .edu at your email address to have a Facebook account. So not to age me too much, but so I'm definitely much like a Facebook girly. Instagram has not been my thing, but I'm learning. So my goals right now are just to try to be on social media more as a way of educating and engaging with people. Facebook seems to do really well for us. A lot of people in these communities, I think, are on Facebook more so than Instagram. Now, if I talk more to people your age, that might be different. You'd have to tell me what you all are using. But Facebook does really well for us as far as like just doing promotions, getting people engaged. And then we try to do like an event once a year. So we're getting ready to do like a Thankful for You November. Thanksgiving's in November. So we'll have a lot of gift card promotions. We'll have a lot of freebie like add-ons to our services and things like that, just to kind of show appreciation for our customers. So, yeah.
Well, that's really nice. I really like that.
Yeah.
And with like the younger generation, like using social media and stuff. Personally, I'm on Facebook more than Instagram.
Okay.
I can't
right.
speak for others, but personally, I do use Facebook a lot more often. So that's actually
good.
really good.
That's good to know because I try not to get too worried about like a follower count, but my Instagram followers is like 48, but Facebook I have like 700 and something.
Yeah.
So I think that just shows like in our communities, because we have our one location in Litchfield as well. So I think in our communities, more people are just on Facebook. Yeah.
So you've mentioned like social media and how you like to engage with people on there. So is that like the best marketing strategy you all have found, or is there others that you all have found like works the same or better?
I think word of mouth does better down here. One thing that I will say one thing that's always successful for us is setting up at events. So like your Fall on the Square, we did Spring on the Square. And we have our skincare products we can kind of sell, but we're not like a booth where we're selling like our t-shirts or our cups or things like that. But we've still found like we do a giveaway, we draw people in, sign up for a facial, win a free facial or win a $25 gift card. So we're able to get people's contact information that way. And then we usually, don't tell everybody my secret, but usually everybody is a winner. So we still contact everyone that enters our giveaway. We will draw like one winner for our like prize that we offered, but everybody is going to win something. So the two things I've found about doing events are while they're signing up for the giveaway, you have a perfect window to give them a 10-second spiel. So usually we go with, have you ever had a facial before?
Yeah.
If that's what we're giving away that day. And so that gives us like literally the amount of time it takes to fill out that giveaway slip. That's the time we have to like just kind of say, we're Bluegrass Beauty and Wellness. Here's what we have to offer. They're either interested and they want to talk more, and so we get more time with them, or they're not. They put their name in the thing and they just walk off, which is fine. But what we have found is getting connected with other businesses. So almost every business owner in Hardinsburg should have like a free service from us. If we have not talked to them directly and offered it to them, it's a standing thing. We're trying to just go in and out. Like, so for us, like hairdressers, people who have lots of clients, that's beneficial to us. We offer them a free facial, come in and get one, get started. Because usually people love that. They leave with their skins nice and smooth and glowy, and they love that. They feel good. A lot of times people will rebook for themselves off that free service we gave out. And then they're telling their clients, hey, did you know because we don't have a lot here in Hardinsburg, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where a lot of people are driving over an hour to go to places. So I think just figuring out ways to get word of mouth out. So we offer our clients a referral program. So if they refer people to us, we give those new people a freebie add-on, and then they get like a little client credit in their wallet for the referral coming in. So referrals, getting out in the community, and meeting other business owners has by far paid off way better for us than anything.
Oh, yeah.
So those are probably our top. Because instead of putting those dollars into maybe doing more formal marketing, like a radio ad or even Facebook ads or something like that, we would much rather like give somebody a treatment and then they're able to speak on their experience.
Oh, yeah.
So far, it's worked out well.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Like, just having people being able to experience it and actually being like, yes, I absolutely love that service. Go to them. That's a really good.
Yeah.
I've noticed that as like a pattern with multiple businesses. So that's really nice. Yeah. So do you have any employees? And if so, how did you decide that you wanted to hire them?
So right now it's pretty much me and my mom, who's my business partner. My aunt is also a retired nurse, so she has started working with us like one day a week, depending on where we're busiest for that week. And she'll help us kind of check people in and out. She can give the injections. She can do the infusions as well because she was a nurse, or still is. Our goal for 2025 is, as we grow this like facial side, is to get an esthetician hired for our Hardinsburg location. We just recently, we were renting one room, and the room behind us was really large in the building. So we just started renting that space and put up a wall. So now we have like a dedicated reception area for us, and we have a dedicated like injection/IV room, and we have a dedicated facial room now.
Oh.
So our goal for 2025 is to get busy enough to hire an esthetician, and then they can offer all of the things like lashes, brows, waxing, all of that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have someone else to like kind of offer those services just to get more.
There's nobody in town that really does it, so we get asked all the time, but it's just a matter of finding the right person that'll fit with us to hire. Yep.
So before in the podcast, we asked you about what challenges you had faced when you started the business. What challenges do you think that you have now during the business going on?
Some days being too busy is the problem, which is a great problem to have. I read a lot from Grant Cardone, is somebody that I listen to a lot of podcasts. He talks a lot about entrepreneurs, and one thing from his book I read most recently, he said, don't get stuck like trying to like preemptively fix problems or prepare for problems or things in your business, which I tend to do. I tend to be like, well, I don't want to do something until like we're fully prepared for it. Okay. What I've learned is you can't be fully prepared. It's going to happen one way or another. But he's like, when you're pulling your hair out because you're too busy to do all of the things and you need to hire and you've got to find somebody quick, he was like, that's a good problem to have, right? So I think that's kind of where we're definitely in a good growth phase right now for us. So just being busy as a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because then I don't have time. I'm with clients, so I don't always have time to do the administrative side. So I'm getting to that point where I need somebody to be my brain for me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Having that extra help is definitely going to be great when you start growing your customer base more. So how do you envision the future of Bluegrass Beauty and Wellness and like the industry changing in the future?
I think for us, a lot of it will be people telling us what they want to see. Like I said, here and even on our Litchfield side, you have people that are driving 45 minutes to an hour to get services. So what do they want to see? I think since COVID hit in 2020, I think there's a lot of people that want to go towards that, like, being well. And so I think, what does wellness look like to people? And so things for me as a nurse practitioner in our business that'll be coming are, I just started our hormone replacement therapy. I'll be adding more like functional health type services. So probably be focusing on that wellness side a little more in the very near future, but also still growing our aesthetic side.
Well, that's awesome. So, you mentioned like eventually wanting to hire an S.
Esthetician.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, I can't pronounce it.
You're good.
So, do you have like any other goals for the future for Bluegrass Beauty and Wellness?
Oh gosh. I just think there's so many possibilities. So it's hard to really give like I think so much. I think like in this next year, what do I want to do? But obviously, like I would love to have a business that has grown and sustains itself. I think anytime you have a business, one common theme I see in all these books I read from entrepreneurs, millionaires, billionaires, all these things, a lot of them talk about having an exit strategy, which is really hard to imagine when you feel like you're just beginning. But I want to build a business that my mom can actually really retire when she decides she actually wants to, instead of just joking about it. Maybe that looks like me hiring nurse practitioners that are in the business seeing people, and I don't have to be in the business seeing people. That would be a great goal in the next, I don't know, I'm only 35, so I've still got a while to go. But I also want to build something that our community needs. So I don't want people to have to drive that far for services that they're wanting. So I think anytime we can build what the community needs, it's a good idea. And I want to be able to give back. So whatever that looks like, as far as like getting to a place where we're able to give back to the community as well. So we do little bits here and there as far as like donating things at galas or fundraisers or stuff like that. But I want to truly find a way to give back. So.
Well, that's awesome. I like that you're just really focused on that. Like, it's amazing. So, what is some advice that you would give to someone who thought about starting their own business?
I would say find someone that's in that business and spend a day with them and see how things flow. Because what I thought, and you know, I was 32-ish when we started this, so I thought I knew what owning a business would be like. No idea. No idea. If you had talked to me before I started, this would have been very different answers to these questions, I'm sure. So I think anytime, and that's always my advice to like anybody, I won't even say like student, anybody at any point in their life starting, like thinking about what they want to do next, like go spend a day with somebody that's doing the thing you think you want to be doing, and like ask them the questions, like pay attention to the things they struggle with, pay attention to the way they talk about it, what they love. Everybody's going to be different personality wise, but you don't know till you know. So like go at least try to shadow and see it for yourself. And then you may decide this isn't the business for me. You may decide it is, but so.
Okay. So, how do you maintain a healthy work and life balance?
Oh boy. I have a 21-month-old baby. So we also opened business and I got pregnant at the same time. So I don't know that that exists for me. Just started sleeping through the night about 4 months ago. So I try to get consistent sleep, and I try to, whatever I'm doing for the day, that's where I'm at. So like when I'm at work or I'm working on my business, that is my focus. When I'm at home, my focus is my baby and what needs to be done at home. So it's hard as a business owner to cut things off, but I do try to separate that way to create balance.
Okay. Well, having that work and life balance, at least you're actually focused on what you need to be focused on at certain parts, and you don't let it like completely cut in the way of each other.
I try my best.
So, do you have anything else that you would like to say to our viewers?
If anybody wants to come see what a day in the life is like, you are more than welcome to. Yeah, I think that's just the biggest thing. Like, get out there and experience things. So if anybody ever wants to talk more or ask me more questions about anything that we've talked about today, being a nurse, being a business owner, being a mom, any of the things, I'm available. So.
Okay, well, this has been such an amazing podcast. We have so enjoyed having you here. It was really fascinating to hear like your journey throughout this and like how you just care about your customers and how you started this. And I think it was just a really good experience for everybody. And I'm so excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So, thank you for watching What's Buzzin' in Breck, and we will see you all next time.